Okay, now I think we're functioning. Facebook changed one little thing and everything just got very confusing for a minute there. But I think we're functioning. I've got my video. I think I've got my comments up. Oh, I got a notification that I'm live. Perfect. We're doing good. Um, oh, I've got it shared to my group. Perfect. Okay, so if you're here, if you're seeing me, shoot me a comment because I can't, I don't know if you guys are actually seeing me or not. So, oh, Denise is here. Wonderful. And my comments are back where I expect them to be. This is great. Since my last live, that has all changed. And Tony's here. Hello. All right. So, um, a couple of these cards from today are actually from a class I did this last weekend as an add-on class for our spring retreat. So if you were at that, it may look a little bit familiar. I also just realized that I didn't bring out an ink pad that I needed, so I'm going to go grab that. I think it's close by. This is why it's a good thing I put pants on today. And now I'm not going to be able to find it. There we go, right here where it's supposed to be. So I've got my Just Jade ink pad because I'm going to need that. Hello, Shirley. Okay, but I'm going to work on kind of my simplest card first, and this one is one of my favorites. I guess I should show you guys what I'm actually working on. There we go. So what I did was I'm using the True Love Designer Series paper. So that's the black and white Designer Series paper. And I'm using each of the in colors for this class. So what I've got is I've got Cinnamon Cider for this one. And the full class that we did, it has 10 cards, 2 in each of the different in colors, which is super fun. Hello, Maida. Now, some of you, Shirley and Maida, I'm looking at you, got this class already when you did the spring retreat, which is a lot of fun. But I had so much fun with these cards that I'm going to be offering it as a class to go on its own as well. So it's $40 and includes everything you need to make, like I said, 10 cards. And then if you order the Butterfly Brilliance bundle, so it's the stamp set, and I'll show you the stamp set in just a second, and the dies, you will actually get it for free. So I will put up the host code at the end of this so that you can see how to order that. Now, with this vine die cut, I die cut it out of cinnamon cider, but I actually die cut it with the adhesive sheet on the back. So I can show you what that looks like on the page. So this is the piece that I cut it out of, and it's got the adhesive sheet on the back, so I just had to peel that off and the whole thing was sticky, which is a super easy way to adhere those intricate die cuts that nobody likes to stick down. The next piece I'm going to put on is my Designer Series paper piece, and I haven't trimmed the ends of this yet because I wanted to kind of make them fit onto my card front. So I'm just going to take my scissors and snip it about the length that I want. How's that? That looks good. And then, so this is just a 3/4 inch strip of Designer Series paper. I'm gonna plop that on there. And then I've got my in color ribbon. Now this is retiring, this style of ribbon. The colors aren't retiring, but the style of ribbon is. But in the class, you actually get a bunch of this ribbon. So don't worry, you will have this ribbon even if you join the class after May 4th. There isn't any lives or videos or anything for the class, so you can kind of do them whenever suits you, but there is a PDF with instructions. So you'll have all the instructions and measurements for all the cards and all the pieces, of course. I'm going to put some tear and tape. Hello, Sue. Put some tear and tape on the back of this ribbon so that it's sticky too. Could stick this down with a tape runner or even glue dots, but I have tear and tape handy, so why not use it? And then I'm going to stick that over my designer series paper layer there. Alrighty, now I'm going to layer my butterflies. So what I've done is I've cut out of copper foil, and this doesn't have any adhesive on the back yet. I've cut my detailed butterfly, and then I've cut the outline in a white cardstock. And now I'm going to take, I'll just use my glue, and glue just the body of the butterfly. And I'm going to glue this onto the white layer, making sure that it's centered. And this is why I use the glue, so that I can squidge it around a little bit, make sure that it's exactly where I want it. And then push it down nice and firm. Adjust the little antennae a little bit. There we go. Now this is going to go on with dimensionals. Tear and tape for ribbon. Pro tip, isn't it, Denise? Some of them are a little bit too thin to use it, but in general, it is a super way to attach ribbon to cards. All right, so now with dimensionals, this is going to get popped right onto our card. And now I have this little Stitch So Sweetly rectangle that we're going to use for a sentiment. And I have from the Strong and Beautiful stamp set, which is one of my favorite sentiment sets. I'm going to use the You're Amazing and That's a Fact. I'm going to stamp that just in Memento Black. You could use Stays On too, but onto cardstock you don't have to. We're going to stamp that right onto that little label. And then this is going to go on with some dimensionals as well. And so yeah, there's a little bit of die cutting on this card. What paper is that? The Designer Series paper or the foil, Sue? And I'm going to tuck another dimensional underneath. To make sure that that stands up properly. There we go. So this is the first card. So the DSP is the True Love from the January to June catalog. So these black and white florals on one side and patterns on the other. So this is the first card. You'll get this card with the mail and make packet. So that's if you place an order with me this month, you will get that. And then if you join the class, you'll get the mail and make, but you'll get 8 other cards as well to do with that. All right. The next card we're going to do, I'm going to use Just Jade. And I'm actually out of Just Jade ribbon, so I'm actually going to use the Just Jade, the gingham ribbon. This is from Flowers for Every Season. But in the actual class, I used the Just Jade, the same ribbon as we had before. Okay, and for this one, I have a bunch of different butterflies cut out of vellum, cardstock, and copper foil. I've got a Just Jade card base, which I'm going to fold. Make sure that fold is nice and firm. And then I have this layer that I've embossed with the Art Gallery embossing folder. And this is just a 4 by 5 1/4 layer. And I've embossed it with that embossing folder. This is where I'm going to need my Just Jade ink. You don't have to do this. I just think it's a really cool way to get a little bit of detail out of my embossing folder. So I'm going to kind of ink it up on my blender brush, and then I'm going to just very lightly start adding some ink to my embossing folder. I don't need to do the whole thing. I just kind of want to make a spotlight kind of in the middle and then softer out to the edges. There we go. That's all I'm going to do to that. But you can see it adds just a little bit of color to the tops of those and gives it a bit of a colored sheening, I guess. Now I'm going to add my Designer Series paper. For this one, I did a 4 by 1.5 inch strip of one of the kind of patterns that I love, these bold patterns in this designer series paper. And then, gotta see my instructions again here. I'm gonna adhere a strip of the ribbon to the front of my card. This one I'm actually gonna attach to the back. And what I'm gonna do for this one, I use yet another adhesive, just because I'm an adhesive addict, maybe, if I can find it. I use my Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm going to adhere it straight across and just adhere it a little bit on the back. And that way, if I wanted to tie a bow or something to it on the front, I could. Put that aside, and then I'm going to glue this on like that. So that is the base. And now we're going to layer on all of these lovely butterflies. So with this ribbon, I'm not necessarily going to be able to glue it on top, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it underneath the ribbon for the first layer. And you can layer these kind of however you want. I don't know that this is even the same way that I did it initially. I'm just going with it. So I'm going to tuck this behind. Smush that down. And then this one here, I'm going to layer on top of that butterfly. So I'm going to adhere this one with glue dots, and I'm actually going to put a glue dot under the ribbon here so that this holds down too. I'm going to adhere this with glue dots to make sure it sticks to the ribbon. Roll that little glue dot there, it goes over the edge, so I'm just going to roll it up. Attach that one over top there, and then the last one here is this little copper guy. And I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue because that'll stick well to the cardstock. There we go. All right, and now that they're all stuck down, I can kind of zhuzh these wings up a little bit to give it a little bit more dimension. For this one, I thought I should do a Mother's Day sentiment because why not? So I have my piece of cardstock here that is not cut completely properly yet at all. I want it to be 3/4 inches. And then we'll go with 4 inches. How's that? Just to make it fit onto the front of that card. And then I'm going to trim each of the ends with the banner pick-a-punch. See how that fits on the card. Will it fit my sentiment? Perfect. Alrighty. So now I'm going to bring in that black ink again. And I'm going to stamp right in the middle, straight as I can, my Happy Mother's Day sentiment. We'll pop this up on dimensionals. And I don't want this right across the middle. I'm going to drop it down just a little bit so that we keep some of that dimension in the butterflies and everything doesn't have to be perfectly centered. I'm going to add a little bit of a bow here too. So I'm going to do my 2 loops, cross them over. The front one goes around and through that extra little loop in the bottom. And then we'll tighten this up. Whenever you're tightening up your bow, if you find that your knot is getting too loose, just hold on to one side of the bow and then you can tighten it up without loosening that bow off. And if you can't pull on it, then hold the other side of the loop. And same thing when you're pulling it out a little bit, you can just hold on to the knot and then everything will stay nice and tight and tidy. And you can trim to whatever length you need. Now we're going to use some glue dots to adhere this. Just pop the glue dots on the back of your bow. There we go. And pop that onto your sentiment layer there. Now I did have some of the In Colors enamel dots, and you'll get some of these with the class as well and in your mail and make. And I'm just going to pop a few of these guys on. Now the colors you get in your mail and make may be different than the ones I've done here, but the basic design of the cards is going to be the same. There we go. So it also helps that this is not the first time I've made these cards. So these are the two that are from the class, and then there's 8 more cards in the class. And then I was debating what to do for the third card for this live, for the mail and make. And I thought, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? And I said, you know what? I've been making some slimline cards. So I wanted to make a slimline card. So I pulled out some pieces and layers, and this one I have not made yet. This one kind of lives in my head right now, and I'm going to make it live with you guys. So I've got my my Magenta Madness layer. So this is 9 1/4 by 7 3/4, and it's scored at 3 7/8. These slimline cards are a little bit bigger than what most people make, but I like them because they fit perfectly into a number 10 envelope. I don't like putting a small card into a big envelope, so this is the size that I make my slimline cards. And then this white layer here is 9 by 3 1/8. So if you saw my baby pull toys class, that's the same sizes that we used for that, just some different colors. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp on here, and I'm going to stamp my butterflies. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret because I'm a total stamp addict. I have 2 of this stamp set. So I have this one that is still all in one piece, and then I have this one here that I've cut the butterflies apart so that I can use them one at a time. So I'm actually going to use some of these too, but I want to see how this plays out first. So for the big stamp, it's easier to flip it upside down and ink it up like this rather than trying to get that huge stamp onto your ink pad. And I should probably grab some scrap paper here because I'm going to be stamping off the edge of my page. So grab some spare grid paper here, and we'll put our cardstock on there. Okay, now I'm ready. So I'm just making sure that I ink the whole stamp here. And this I find with these big stamps with background stamps is much easier than how we normally stamp with the stamp facing down. And then I'm going to stamp onto the side there. Beautiful. Now I'm going to bring in, which butterflies do I not see here? Okay, I've got this one here and this one here. So let's grab some more stamp blocks, and I'm going to stamp those just on their own on the other side of the card. So we'll stamp these guys over here. And now I'm not worried about them lining up with the other stamps. All right. And then I had this piece too here that I'm still not sure if I want to use or not. I think I will. And what this is this is just the negative from when I die cut a bunch of the white background butterflies. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to grab maybe my Magenta Madness ink pad, and I'm going to grab a blending brush. This is the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set, yes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to blender brush my butterflies a little bit. kind of going from the middle out to make these all magenta butterflies. Oh, that mask. I'm just readjusting the mask a little bit each time to make sure that I'm getting ink where I want it, but not where I don't want it. And then I can do the same thing with these guys over here, just lining up, and you can see how that's totally not how the stamp set is meant to line up, because the die in the stamp set does line up. But I'm just going to pop that on there. And give that a little bit of a brush. There we go. So that's how you can use that die as a negative to help brush on your color there. Alrighty, so we should add some more color and layers and stuff to this. So let's see, I've got some of this polka dot tulle ribbon that I love so much. Can I get that all the way around? Nope. Okay, so we're going to fake this. We're going to put a length of this across the middle. This is the parts that I really haven't figured out yet. So you're seeing this in real time as I'm figuring it out. There we go. And then I'm gonna, oh, I wanted to put a layer of magenta madness ribbon on this as well. I love layering the polka dot tulle ribbon with other ribbons. It gives it just some nice texture. And lets those different materials kind of pop. Touch it in the middle there. There we go. All right. Once I figure out where my sentiment's going to go, I'm going to add some glue dots under that ribbon too. But for now, I'm just going to adhere this to my card base. Hi, Catherine. Yeah, it's still afternoon here. It's evening for you guys out east. All right. So we'll smush that down. And then you know what? I can add some glue dots just under where it's not going to show that much. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with my sentiment yet. I'll just put it in the middle so that it holds that ribbon down in the middle so that we don't get it lifting up. All right. Do I have enough to make a bow here? I don't think so, but maybe we could tie a knot around like that. How do we feel about that? I like that. There we go. We'll put another glue dot under that. And then I've got a die cut oval here from the Stitched Shapes dies. And we're going to put a sentiment on that. And then we can figure out, I'll put it over in the middle there. Alrighty. So, embossing buddy, or, you know, a baby sock with cornstarch in it, if you don't have an official embossing buddy. And then we're going to heat emboss in white. Thank you for always being there for me. That works. That's a good sentiment. There we go. I stamped that down a little bit, so I'm going to have to accommodate for that with probably some pearls I'll use on this. All right, sorry, it's going to get loud for a second here. Heat embossing. All right. So whenever you're heat embossing, you want to make sure that you're embossing it until it's just shiny. If you emboss it too much, it'll go dull. But we want it shiny because we like shiny things. All right. Get some dimensionals on here. And pop that onto our card. Now I've got to go find some pearls. Pearls, pearls, pearls. Beautiful pearls for beautiful girls. I have lots of big ones. I have no little ones. Alrighty, guess we're going to use some big ones. And there we go. Alrighty, so that is the last of our 3 mail and make cards. So let me explain this all again. These are the 3 mail and make cards. So if you placed an order with me this month, or are one of my team achievers, you're going to get these 3 cards, the stuff to make them in the mail. You can use whatever sentiments you want for the stamping. And then obviously this is the only stamping we actually did with the Butterfly Brilliance set. So if you don't have that set, you may want to get it, or you can use a different set for that, but you'll get all the die cuts and the designer series paper and that, and the ribbon and that stuff. And then if you register for the Butterfly Brilliance class to go, so it's going to be 10 cards, including these ones here. You'll actually get these in the class plus 8 more cards. And then you'll also get the stuff to make this one as well. So that class is $40. And if you get the Butterfly Brilliance bundle, so the stamp set and the dies, you will actually get the class for free. So it's 10 cards that you can make that you'll get for free. So let me know. I will post in the comments, I will post the host code. And again, if you place an order, you'll get the 3 cards. If you place an order, including the Butterfly Brilliance bundle, I will send you the entire class. So I'll post the host code in the comments. There was a way to do it on here and I just completely lost. I'll post it in the comments and you can copy and paste it. All right, that's all I've got for right now. I hope you enjoyed these cards. I really enjoyed making them, and we'll see you next time. I'll be back on Friday. We'll be actually in Zoom with our paper pumpkin kits. So if you have your card, the measurements for the slimline card, Tony, is 9 1/4 by 7 3/4, scored at 3 7/8. And then the first layer here is 9 by 3 1/8. I will post that in the comments as well. And I'll send that. I think you're getting the mail and make anyways, so I will make sure that you get the measurements in there as well. All right, happy stamping. See you, like I said, on Friday. We'll be in Zoom working on our paper pumpkin kits. And then I will try to do a live next week again too. I'm trying to do more lives because I know you guys enjoy them. So we'll see you then. Bye.